Hi, I'm Mrs. Mejia.
How you doing, Paul? Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you as well. So, thank you so much for coming in. Just a few quick things, I want to go over. Whenever, and I'm pretty sure you already know, just want to reiterate it though. Anything we talk about is strictly confidential. The only time that I would have to say something is if you're wanting to hurt yourself, hurt other people, or someone is hurting you, of course. Because we want to protect our clients' confidentiality. That's one of the things that we do stress during our sessions. I thank you for coming in today. So how can I assist you today?
I'm just kind of just going through a lot of stress, not sleeping too much. I think it's just kind of time management issues. I have multiple kids that play sports, and trying to get one kid from one practice to another practice, or games to different tournaments. It's kind of starting to take a toll on me. It's kind of wearing on me. There's plenty of parents that have offered to kind of help out, but it's just I don't want to be a burden on anybody. It's my responsibility. They're my kids, so I'm just not just not getting enough rest, and I feel like I'm running around in circles. There's like not enough hours in a day. So
I can totally understand that. And you're absolutely right. There's definitely not enough hours in a day whatsoever. Tell me a little bit about these parents that are wanting to help out.
Well, yeah, they kind of understand. They've had kids that have gone through the process. They have older kids, that have done the travel ball and different club sports. So they're really understanding because they've been through it. And my kids are still fairly young, so it's kind of like my first time going through. So with their experience, they've had other parents help them out. So I think they kind of feel like it's their turn to kind of pay somebody back and kind of just help somebody else out. So it's good. It's good to know that there's people out there that are willing to help. But at the same time, it's just last thing I want to do is be a burden on somebody or feel like I'm taking advantage of somebody. So it's just I don't know if there's going to be a breaking point to where I say, hey, let me take you up on that offer. I do need some help, but it's just it hasn't really come to that point yet. But I'm doing the best that I can. Trying to get everybody where they need to go.
Okay, well, it does sound like you are doing a good job as far as getting them where they need to go. What shows that, what displays that is when you mentioned that you don't want to be a burden on anybody else. So that tells me that you have it under control, but then again you don't, because you're wanting to know how you can manage the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the reason why you wanted to come in today?
Just kind of see if there's anything I can do to kind of help me get through a little bit more with not feeling so stressed. I do have my parents that help, but they're kind of they're getting up there in age, and they've kind of done it with us, but it's kind of like they've paid their dues, they've done their time, so it's kind of again something I don't want to put on somebody else. But when I really absolutely need it, they're willing to help. But again, it just stresses me out that they're like out on the road, and sometimes weather, if they're driving back and it's raining when they're driving back, or the wind and stuff like that, and I don't want to put them in any situations like that where it's dangerous and on the road.
Totally understand that. Now, Paul, can you tell me about a particular day, what a particular day looks like, maybe like on a Saturday and a Sunday? Let's put those 2 days together.
Saturday or Sunday, it's I'm getting up just as early as I would for work, if not sometimes even earlier. So it's I get up in the morning, take one kid to practice, and I'm kind of hoping if the other has practice or tournament, it's a little later in the day. So after that's all over in the morning, and I'm hopping back in the car and driving right back to my house, getting the next one, and we're going. And sometimes it's a 10-12 hour day, just because sometimes games aren't back to back. There might be a game break in between a game or two. Then sometimes I find myself spending a little bit more money than I want to, because of course I got to buy the food and drinks for the games, but then sometimes it's like you're sitting there looking at a sandwich that's been sitting in the bag all day for about 6 or 7 hours. You don't really want to eat that anymore. So now you're going to the snack bar, you're driving down to a Subway down the street, and now that's $10-15 that you didn't really want to spend. And that is stressful too, because I'm trying to budget.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a few stress factors.
Mhm.
The whole thing, getting them to and from games, the
Mhm.
financial aspect, because you mentioned about Subway and not having sandwiches that are fresh.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's financial
Mhm. Yes.
issues as well.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is there anyone else in the home, like your wife, girlfriend, that helps out, or?
Yeah, my wife, but you know, we have younger kids that aren't really doing like the travel and club stuff yet. But you know, um, she's got to do that stuff with them, and then Sundays she's pretty involved in church and stuff like that. So Sundays it's kind of like she can't really do anything. So then it's kind of like falls back to me. I mean, there is times where she has a weekend off, or you know, the younger kids don't have something going on, and then you know, then we're all kind of running around, you know, in circles. But so yeah, so thankfully I have her that kind of help out. But again, it's just with so much time being taken up between, you know, 4 total kids, it's just gets, you know, takes its toll.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanna try a little exercise with you, if you don't mind. This is basically called, if you had a magic wand,
Mhm.
what would be the top 3 things that you would want to relieve stress?
3 things that I would.
Yeah, if you had like a magic wand, if I say,
Well, I guess one thing would be, like I mentioned before, more hours in a day.
Okay, more hours in a day.
Kind of sounds funny, but yeah, I kind of almost wish for that.
Mhm.
Plus, it gives me a couple more hours of sleep. You know, more hours a day would mean a couple more hours of sleep. I
Okay.
would think too. Another thing, I guess would be, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, but I guess it'd be like a tree with money on it. You know,
Tree
just
with
kinda-
money?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, sports are expensive as it is, but
Mhm.
to spend the extra money that you don't really plan on spending with, you know, sometimes hotels and
Mhm.
food and you know extra drinks. You know, especially if it's hot. You know, kids go through water and Gatorade a little faster. And then another thing would just be I don't know, like a nanny or something. I don't know, somebody
nanny?
yeah,
Okay.
a driver, Uber, a personal Uber.
Personal Uber.
You know,
Okay.
you know, one that would just you know kind of already know what the deal is and
Kind
where
of
we're
like a
going.
Mr. Mom.
Yeah, Mr. Mom, something, Mrs. Mom, whoever. You know, just
Okay.
that'd probably be the 3 things I would wish for if you know I had 3
Oh,
wishes.
Mrs. Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just looking at these 3 things, this all ties into you as a father. That shows that you're definitely not selfish, because you want money on trees to pay. You mentioned to pay for equipment and things like that. More hours in the day, so that way you can get to where you need to go. And then a nanny, personal Uber. So none of these things they're helping you out as far as relieving your stress, but
Yeah.
so you're definitely, you sound definitely unselfish when you mention those 3 things. That's, you know, that's awesome, you know, of you to mention those 3 things. What are some things that you do as far as activities on your own to relieve stress?
Go to the gym, you know, work out, and I believe that helps a lot. Because there's times where in the morning I'm just already thinking about the weekend and where am I gonna have to go, and you know, schedules don't come out a lot of times till the middle of the week, so it's a lot of times I may not know what's going on till like Thursday or Friday, but knowing that I'm gonna, you know, be somewhere. So yeah, I definitely believe that going to the gym and you know lifting some weights, doing some cardio kind of helps me deal with it and stuff like that. So it gets my mind off, at least for that 45 minutes to an hour. I'm not thinking of it and I'm feeling good. And sometimes it actually makes you feel good throughout the day.
Okay.
So,
Very good. Is there anything else?
yeah, like definitely when I'm able to go to church, when I'm able to go to church on Sunday and hear some things, and I'm able to kind of reflect and sit back and kind of keeps me from doing the why me, because you know it's a blessing to have kids and that you enjoy watching do sports. So definitely when I go there and hear a little word, hear some preaching, it kind of puts things in perspective for me that hey, like things could be worse. You know, I mean, people are stressing about, you know, where their next meal is going to come from, you know, where they're going to sleep that night. So it kind of puts things in perspective, like, hey, at least I'm not, you know, worried about that or going through that. So it kind of makes me feel like, hey, this really isn't a problem that I'm having. It's just a challenge, you know. So.
Okay. Well, a challenge indeed, because you mentioned, it was challenging. Would you say all these things that you're doing, is somewhat of a challenge?
Yeah, but it's worth it. I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world, and that's why I would never say it's a real issue or a problem. But just yeah, it's challenging at times. But again, I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I mean, for the most part, I enjoy it.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. You know, you've accepted the challenge. So, and I mean, that's really good. That's really great to hear that you accepted the challenge, and you know what you're up against. So it sounds to me as though that you're willing to accept everything
Yeah.
for what it is.
Just gotta manage it better.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. It was nice, you know, meeting with you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
All
it.
right. Hopefully, you know, things do get better for you in the future.
Yeah. So. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,